Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you joining us today. Welcome to the United Nations Careers Livestream for University students and recent graduates. My name is Christina and I work in the Office of Human Resources at the UN Secretariat. And I would like to start out today with many thanks to you all for being here with us, and many, many thanks to the colleagues and distinguished speaker who came here today to make this event happen. So we are all connecting from our headquarters in New York City, and we would love to know from you, where are you all joining from? So let us know in the chat you see on screen. And in the meantime, let me tell you a little bit about the next hour here today. So we have an exciting opportunity in front of us to learn more about the work of the United Nations and to gain valuable insight into the process of becoming a competitive applicant with the UN. And so today here, I would like to show you the agenda and to provide you an overview of various entry points to a UN career, including internships and UN volunteers, the Young Professional Program, lots of colleagues here today with us joining. They're behind the scenes, but they will share with you their wealth of experience, their personal stories of working at the UN, and an inside look maybe at the recruitment process and all of that. So we'll follow that up with a little bit of application guidance at the UN Secretariat specifically. And at the end, we will leave time to answer your questions. So please feel free to leave those in the chat you see on screen as well. And a quick note on accessibility, if you wish to enable captions, please use the settings directly in the platform you are connecting from as well. So all of that is awaiting you today, and it's a packed agenda. And before we start, we have, like I mentioned, a very distinguished speaker. So we'll go there first and foremost, and we'll start with our opening remarks from our Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, Felipe Paulier, who comes from Uruguay, and who has assumed his mandate as the first ever Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs in December 2023 at the age of 32 years old. So he is the youngest senior appointment in the history of the United Nations and the youngest serving member of the Secretary General's Senior Management Group. As head of the UN Youth Office, Mr. Paulier leads system-wide collaboration, coordination, and accountability on youth affairs, overseeing the UN's efforts to strengthen meaningful youth engagement in the areas of sustainable development, human rights, and peace and security. Prior to taking up his post, Mr. Paulier was the Director General of the National Youth Institute of Uruguay beginning in 2020, where he led efforts to engage young people in policymaking processes at national level. He previously served in various political management positions at the national level as well, and throughout his career, he has been a foremost advocate for young people's rights and the inclusion of young people in decision-making spaces. Mr. Paulier is a medical doctor by training, specialized in pediatrics, and he holds a medical doctor degree from the Universidad de la República Oriental de Uruguay and a master's in business administration from Universidad Católica de Uruguay. So without further ado, I'd like to hand it over now to Mr. Paulier's opening remarks with many thanks from us. And I hope you enjoyed this short video that he has prepared for us. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Felipe Paulier, the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs, and it's my pleasure to join you today. First and foremost, I would like to thank the organizer of today's UN Careers Livestream event, the Office of Human Resources. I want to thank them for their commitment to sharing the opportunities with young people on how to contribute to the work of the United Nations. I would also like to thank the young people who are joining us virtually today for your interest and enthusiasm to learn more about career opportunities in the UN system. The world that we have today is constantly evolving. Challenges have significantly become more complex, and we have arrived at a time where institutions are needed more than ever to be future fit and innovative to tackle all the rising multidimensional challenges. As highlighted by the UN Secretary General in his vision for our common agenda, we need a future-fit United Nations, rejuvenated by a forward-thinking culture and empowered by cutting-edge skills. The key answer to help us achieve this lies in the hands of young people, the world's largest generation of change makers. The 1.9 billion of the world's population of youth is our best bet to achieving the world's ambitious 2030 agenda and our best bet to addressing the complex multidimensional global challenges. As the most connected generation, young people are natural innovators as well as resilient solution makers. This is why the United Nations needs to engage with young people as equal partners and to have youth contribute to the work of the United Nations, including through the rejuvenation of the UN and its workforce. Supporting young talent and strengthening the youth workforce is not only a meaningful decision, it's a smart decision. When we invest in young talent, we are investing in the future. We need to make the UN a trusted partner and an attractive employer of choice for young people who can bring this innovation, fresh ideas, and resiliency that can make this institution even more future fit. This is why our event today is undoubtedly important. Through the UN Careers conversation, I hope that you will be able to learn more on the various opportunities, entry points, and desired cutting-edge skills for young people to begin their career journey in the UN. I invite you to work for the United Nations and to become part of a workforce of the world for the world. I thank you once again and wish you a fruitful conversation.
Thank you very, very much to our Assistant Secretary General for Youth Affairs for the inspirational remarks and the great work on such important issues. Next up, we would like to start our UN Careers presentation, and I would like to invite our next speaker, Hong-Suk Kwon, who is the Chief of the Strategic Talent Management Service in the Office of Human Resources at the UN Secretariat in New York. Hong leads in designing, communicating, and implementing global talent management strategies. He previously worked as Chief of Staffing in the UN Secretariat, and some of his achievements included the implementation of the new staff selection and managed mobility framework, and online assessments, and contributing to the UN system gender parity strategy. Lots of great work happening here, and we would love to hear more about it from you. So over to you, Hong.
Thank you, Christina. Hello, everyone. Hope you can see me and hear me well. I'm sure you see some shades on my face because I am actually sitting looking at the Hudson River of New York City with sunshine on my head. So my apologies for the shades. But I hope you can hear me well. So good to see you all virtually. It's such a pleasure being with you today, and I'm very excited to engage with you. Again, my name is Hong Kwon, the Chief of Strategic Talent Management Service in the UN. Speaking of wealth of experience, I have 29 years of experience in the UN. It means when I started my UN career, Mr. Pollier, who just gave the opening remarks, was only 3 years old. Kidding aside, I served in 3 different duty stations. Today, I will go over briefly an overview about our mandates, the workforce demographics, and key workforce capabilities. As you may already know, the main mandates of the UN Secretariat include maintaining international peace and security, protecting human rights, delivering humanitarian aid, supporting sustainable development and climate action, and upholding international law. The world looks to our organization for solutions to global problems. And our organization is uniquely diverse. We have about 36,000 staff, and they come from over 190 different countries and work across 9 different job networks in over 470 locations around the globe. As you may already know, UN has 6 official languages, Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. A lot of our staff speak more than 1 official language in addition to their mother tongue. Working in the UN will provide you with the opportunity to work with colleagues with different backgrounds, with varying perspectives and experiences. It is a true multicultural environment. And it is a unique place to work in. So as Mr. Polier said earlier, I also encourage you to consider joining the UN in the future, and hope to see you in the building in New York or somewhere else where UN is located sometime in the future. The jobs at the UN, if we can go to the next slide. The jobs at the UN are organized in what we call job networks. And you can see all 9 job networks listed here on the slide. They vary from jobs in the political, peace and humanitarian family to jobs in management and administration or information technology family. As any large organization, the UN offers jobs in so many different areas of expertise. I mean, when you think of UN, you may only think about jobs in political affairs, international relations, human rights, humanitarian aid, peacekeeping, or translation or interpretation, right? But guess what? We have jobs in human resources, finance, accounting, procurement, logistics, IT, communication. We have lawyers, we have nurses and doctors too. So there are a variety of jobs that are available in the UN across the globe. To that end, as I mentioned earlier, as we are a very diverse organization, we emphasize on diversity, equity, and inclusion. We believe the diversity and complexity of the global UN presence and mandates that I spoke about earlier must be matched by a diverse, geographically balanced, gender balanced, international and multicultural workforce that visibly demonstrates its core values, has a modeling impact on the communities that we serve, and reaps the gains in efficiency, productivity, and innovation from the diverse peoples of the world. Realizing such a workforce enhances the organization's ability to reflect diverse viewpoint in implementing and meeting its mandates. Therefore, the UN Secretariat Office of Human Resources manages diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives in areas including, but not limited to geographical representation, gender parity, disability inclusion, anti-racism, youth, multilingualism, mental health, and much more. Mr. Polier spoke about SDG goals and UN 2.0. The Secretary General, in commencing his second term in 2022, launched the UN 2.0 to enable the organization to be ready for tackling ever more complex and interconnected challenges of the 21st century. To this end, through in-depth analysis and studies, we have identified the key capabilities that our workforce needs to take on such challenges. They include data analytics and management, innovation, digital transformation, strategic foresight, and behavioral science. And we need the skills across the organization. In addition, 6 other capabilities that have also been identified to be strengthened across the organization. You see them on the right-hand side of the slide. Now, what it means is that we are looking for talent with these skills. So when you have opportunities, it would be good to take learning activities in these capabilities, and there are abundance of such learning courses and training opportunities nowadays online, and some of them, many of them, in fact, are free of charge. So if you have the skills, then your candidature will be strengthened when you prepare and submit your applications. Okay, that's the end of the overview. Now, our colleagues will talk about more detail in some of the career opportunities. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Amira, who will talk about internship opportunities. So Amira, over to you.
Thank you so much, Hong. Hello, everyone. My name is Amira, and I am a public information intern from the United States, finishing my 5th month of my UN internship. My UN experience has been enriching for me, both personally and professionally. I learn a lot from my colleagues through passing by, but also through collaborations and projects. I'm excited to provide more information about my experience, but before we get started, let's watch a video that was created by a former intern.
I applied because my background is in medicine. I'm a physician from India, and working in the medical services division at the United Nations was a very intriguing opportunity for me.
I applied to an internship at the United Nations because it's always been a dream of mine, and one of my aspirations is actually to work within politics in some kind of capacity. So this was a good start.
I want to work at international organization, non-profit, and social enterprise, utilizing the skill set I learned here.
On a daily basis, I actually work on data analysis and data visualization on Power BI, which is a very powerful tool that I've learned in United Nations. I also work on updating our new intranet with web pages.
I applied because I always wanted to work at the international organization, and I've graduated this May from my university, so I wanted to gain useful experience working with international law and investment law.
I'm the graphic design intern, so my tasks range from creating graphics for the human resources portal or creating brochures. I wanted to gain more experience and work with an organization that helps so many people.
My job is more about cost-benefit analysis to help UN staff to work more efficiently and effectively. Yes.
From my time at United Nations, I learned that it is up to myself to decide what I can and cannot achieve. My advice for future candidate would be don't wait out. Have a purpose for your time at the United Nations. Always know why you started out at the United Nations and why you're involved in a project you're involved in. And don't be afraid to reach out to people. People at the United Nations were once in your shoes, and they are always willing to help you out.
आओ हमारे साथ काम करो.
和我们一起工作.
Trabajen con nosotros.
Работайте с нами.
Work with us.
一緒に働きましょう。
So, the UN internship experience offers an opportunity for talented and motivated individuals to gain practical experience in the UN system. It is designed for students and recent graduates who are pursuing or who have pursued a degree in a relevant field. The UN offers a wide range of internship opportunities in different departments, agencies, and locations around the world. The duration of internships can range from 2 to 6 months, and interns can work on a full-time basis or a part-time basis. And there is flexibility in whether the internship can be completed on-site, hybrid, or remotely. This is according to the availability of the intern and the needs of the hiring department. As an intern at the UN, you will have the opportunity to work on real projects and contribute to meaningful work at the organization. You will also have the chance to attend meetings and events, network with professionals in your field, and learn about the UN and its mission. To be eligible for the UN internship program, you must be enrolled in the final year of a bachelor's degree or beyond. You must also have and indicate fluency in at least one of the UN's official languages, which is French or English. The financial sacrifice that interns often make in pursuit of valuable experience is dependent on the intern, but there are non-monetary benefits such as networking opportunities, skill development, and as I said earlier, practical experience that interns can gain from this program. Additionally, there are resources provided to offset expenses, such as scholarships. Although they're not promised, you can apply and find them at the Department of State if you are a US citizen like myself, or you can apply to the scholarships through your national's Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The UN internship program is a great opportunity for students and recent graduates to develop their skills in an international environment. So if you're interested in pursuing an internship here, I encourage you to visit our careers website and careers portal seen at the bottom of the screen, careers.un.org. For more information on job levels, it's uncareers.org at jobs-level. I will now hand it over to my colleague Mahmoud from Syria, who joined the UN Secretariat through the Young Professionals Program. Mahmoud will provide more insights into the YPP program and share his experience. Over to you.
Thank you so much, أميرة. Hello everyone, and مرحبا لكل الناطقين باللغة العربية. My name is Mahmoud Al-Masri. I'm from Syria. I joined the UN Secretariat 2 years ago throughout the YPP program. And I would like to share more insight about this program. But before we start with the YPP process overview, I do want to note that the YPP program is one of the unique programs in the UN that it's open to only nationals from an underrepresented member state in the UN Secretariat. And also there is an age limit as well. Just want to set the stage and emphasis that this is a specific program with some additional criteria that you wouldn't find in a regular job opening at the UN. The reasoning behind this additional criteria to this program is simple. The YPP was designed as a program to improve the geographical representation of the UN at the UN Secretariat by invited candidates only from those nationalities, the nationalities that are and underrepresented, and also to regenerate the workforce with youth by inviting only candidates under a certain age. So now let's go over this criteria in the next slide. So the slide before. Yeah, so this slide is one of the most relevant information for you as a potential applicant. For this program, there are 4 basic eligibility criteria. First of all, only nationals from an underrepresented member state can apply for the program. For example, in 2023 exam, there are around 60 participating countries that we will show in a few slides. Second criteria is the age. Only individuals that are 32 years old and younger are able to participate. Like I mentioned, this program was introduced as a way to regenerate the workforce of the UN and to help improve the geographical representation balance. So that's really where the nationality and age criteria come in, as those are specifically the mandate of the YPP. The third criteria is education. A first-level university degree in an area that is relevant to the exam. It's only required. So what's that referring to is each year there are different subjects area that are included in the exams. And in the job opening information that you can see online, you will find the main course of study that are accepted for the exam, so you can cross-reference your expected university degree with a list of those who are accepted for the YPP this year. And last criteria is the language. Fluency in either English or French is the final eligibility criteria. Please indicate fluency in either one of those when you apply in Inspira. Otherwise, your application will be not considered or screened out. Lastly, I just want to point out as a takeaway that there is no previous work experience required for the YPP. So it's different from the other professional level job openings you might find at the UN. And that only requires a first level degree and no other work experience is required. But there are those additional age and nationality requirements. In this slide, we see an overview of the YPP process. From the application stage, where you will read about the program on our careers website, determine your eligibility, apply in Inspira, and wait for your application to be screened. Next is the assessment stage, which includes online exams and a virtual interview. So candidates that are invited to the assessment stage will receive resources like reading materials, early access to the testing platform, sample question, things like that to give candidates an opportunity to prepare themselves. Please keep in mind that the UN does not charge any fees at any point of the YPP process. So be aware of the for-profit companies out there offering services related to the YPP that are not supported or endorsed by the UN organization. And finally, a note about the roster stage. Success in the YPP is different from the success in applying to a traditional job opening. Those are successful in the YPP process are placed on a roster of successful candidates that it's then used to fill vacancies over the course of 3 years. So it's not only apply to YPP and be placed immediately in a job opening. This is more about investing in your future career at the UN and keeping a door open to be able to take on a professional level career in the UN. And lastly, in my part, for the 2024 YPP updates and next steps, please check back on our career.un.org/YPP for important updates, which should be published in about a month or so. And don't forget to follow us on our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter by searching UN Careers. And we will be posting updates there shortly about the YPP program. Thank you so much for paying attention as we explore the YPP program at the UN, and I hope that this has provided you with a guidance and inspired you to apply if you meet the criteria. Now, I would like to hand it over to my colleague from Saudi Arabia, Bashar Bafarat, who joined the UN throughout the junior Professional Officer program. So she will share with you her invaluable experience about the JPO program.
Thank you, Mahmoud. Thank you so much, Mahmoud. Good morning, everyone from New York. I hope you are enjoying this live stream so far. My name is Bashair. I'm a GPO from Saudi Arabia. I have been working at the United Nations Secretariat for almost 2 years in the Office of Human Resource Diversity and Outreach section. Today, I will be talking about the Junior Professional Officer Program, which I will refer to as GPO throughout this presentation. The primary goal of the GPO program is to offer young professionals a hand-on experience in the field of multilateral international cooperation under the guidance of specialists. Participants contribute to the organization's mission while gaining valuable work experience. This program, founded by donor countries, they sponsor up to 2 years, but some countries have the flexibility to extend the GPO period. Some donor countries also sponsor young professionals from developing countries. I encourage you to check the link you can see on the screen for more details about this. Eligibility for the program requires either a master's degree with the minimum of 2 years of relevant work experience. If you hold a bachelor degree, you must have 4 years of relevant work experience. English is required as the primary working language. A second or third UN official language is a great asset. And the limit for applicants, the age limit for the applicants vary depending on the donor country. Current GPOs are around of the age of 30. Next slide, please. Okay. The opening announcement for the GPO program vary among donor countries. Some donor countries handle the pre-selection of candidates. Final selection and recruitment are conducted by the representative UN receiving offices. The recruitment process typically takes 3 to 6 months. Eligible applicants are required to submit a personal history profile, PHP for short, similar to a CV detailing your academic background, professional experience, and relevant qualification. A cover letter outlining why you are applying for this for the position and how your career aspiration align with the job you are applying for. If selected, candidate will be offered an entry-level position. GPOs receive the same allowance, benefit, and salary as international recruited UN staff members. Again, for more information about this program, please visit the link displayed on the screen. And I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much. And I guess I will hand over to Christina. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Bashar, for sharing with us about the JPO program. And I'm back now with you to share about 2 other programs that we consider as great opportunities to enter the UN system, specifically for youth. The first being UN Volunteers, or UNV for short. And the United Nations Volunteers are an organization that was established in 1971, actually, as a development partner for the UN system to deploy UN volunteers and promote volunteerism. And as you can see on the screen, UNV offers opportunities at every stage of the career path. And the majority of UN volunteers actually fall under that specialist category that you see there in the upper right-hand corner. Where they do have several years of professional experience. But for those of you who maybe don't have as much experience or are younger and earlier, in your careers, it's good news, I would think, to share with you that over 10% of UN volunteers are actually youth volunteers. So in that category you see there on screen, which does provide young people with a platform to engage in the work of the UN, right? And there's also, community volunteers, for example, which are recruited from within the communities where they're expected to serve. And this ensures that UNV's work is rooted in the needs and perspectives of these same communities. And in addition, there are online volunteer opportunities where you could complete tasks over the internet and contribute to the work of both, UN entities as well as NGOs, academia, or other, eligible entities. So as you can see, UNV is a diverse and dynamic organization, and it offers opportunities for everyone with, no matter what your range of skills and experience is. And you might not know this, but I would love to share this with you because it is important that all UN volunteers are supported by a comprehensive package of entitlements to secure, a safe and modest standard of living. So the amounts, the specific entitlements, those vary based on the type and the category that you see on screen and that, is in every assignment, right? But that can include, let's say, an entry lump sum when you start your assignment. It can include travel tickets when you enter on duty and start your assignment, and as well as when you end. It can include a monthly living allowance, medical insurance, access to training platforms and programs, and of course, annual leave. So lots of different benefits to volunteering with UNV. And of course, you can follow the link on screen. It's app.unv.org to be able to check out some of these opportunities that the organization has open right now. And I would like to move maybe next into our final category of entry opportunities at the UN, and that's consultancies. And consultancies are used by the UN frequently to engage experts under individual contracts to work on short-term projects. So what is a consultant? Well, they're a recognized authority or specialist in a specific field that is engaged by this organization, specifically the UN Secretariat, in an advisory or consultative capacity, right? So the functions of a consultant are results-oriented. They normally involve analyzing problems, maybe directing seminars or training courses or preparing for conferences, and then maybe writing reports on matters within their area of expertise. So they are generally tasked with short-term assignments, and the location may be at various UN duty stations or at any of the UN regional, country, or project offices around the world. But I encourage you to check this out. Also, depending on your experience and perhaps the educational level, the highest education level you have attained, whether that's a bachelor or some of you may have a PhD, you might want to look into a consultancy or a junior consultancy, which is that of a more junior expert in that field. And we invite you to check it out. Go to careers.un.org/job-level and find the consultancy tab and click on that to expand it and learn more about how you can apply and how you can stay in touch with us for these wonderful opportunities. So in the interest of time, then now I'll pass it over to our next speaker, Jennifer, who will tell us a little bit more about the UN recruitment process and give some tips on applications and maybe on exams and interviews at the UN. So over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Christina. Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer Stansel. I'm the chief of the section that looks at strategic talent outreach and does sessions like these, as well as building an inclusive and diverse workplace so everyone can thrive. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today. I've joined the UN 2 years ago. I come from the private sector, so it's been a very meaningful journey joining the UN and doing very purpose-led work. I'll tell you a little bit more now about the recruitment process. And as my colleagues were saying earlier, there are many pathways into the organizations. The UN Careers Portal has all the opportunities for you, as Christina was just mentioning, and you see the link on the bottom as well. That is really your one stop to finding all the opportunities. Once you apply in our recruitment system in Spira, you'll be asked to put in your UN resume. And it's really important. It has many different elements to it, including a motivational statement. And that really gives us an opportunity to know you better. So it's an opportunity for you to really express how this particular job meets your career aspirations and how you best fit for this job. So take some time to really, fill that out. Then there are elements around education, training, certifications, publications. Again, an opportunity for you to list all the things you've done, your backgrounds. And again, it's really important to be very accurate in the information you put in there. There are also sections on your professional and personal experience, giving you an opportunity to highlight everything that you've done to support your job application. Finally, another section that's really important is our language section. As earlier mentioned, the working languages are English and French. In certain job description, you'll see requirements for other languages. So really make sure you see what is required and then mark off if you speak, English or French fluent, mark off in all categories that you are fluent. Because that's really important for the system to know and to screen you in for that particular job. And finally, references are also a great opportunity to get insights into you across different stakeholders. If you could please go to the next slide. Great. You will find that as part of our recruitment process, there are multiple steps. For some, there might be an online assessment. And again, it's really important to study your job description. You will find all the information in that job opening, around the competencies that are required, what will be the responsibilities, which job network or job family it will be in. So do some research, look at all the UN official documents, find out more about that particular entity that's hiring. Those will really help you prepare for those online job assessments. Often they're substantive knowledge tests. They will be online, and quite often they're open-ended essay-type questions. So you can definitely prepare for that, and it's a good opportunity to prepare as well. One thing to note, we do not, throughout the whole process, ask for any fees at any point of time. So please be really mindful that that's not something that the UN ever asks for. You can go to the next slide, please. Another critical element for us is our UN competency, values, and behaviors framework. It's critical for delivering our global mandate. These values and behaviors are not just important for our individual staff, but they're also important for our UN as an organization. They contribute to creating a culture of trust, respect, and collaboration, and really help us achieve as the UN our goals and objectives. So they're also critical in the recruitment process. Right now, you'll see the competencies listed in the job openings. Again, it's really important to study those carefully, as they will most likely, be also assessed within the interview that often follows the online assessment. And it's really critical that you live and embody these values and behaviors as well, and we continue to work on those also within the UN. Now, as the next step, as mentioned, often there is a structured interview that we do. And again, that's something you can prepare for. Look at the competencies in the job description. Think of examples that you can provide that really substantiate the work you've done previously in those different competencies that really show your achievements, your work experience, and so on. So it's a really good opportunity to prepare for those interviews, as often, you have to provide a lot of examples within a short period of time. On the next slide, we'll share with you use the structure that's really helpful to understand. We call it the Carl story. So firstly, when you give an example, it's really important to show the context. What has been the context, the challenge. So for example, Beth was asked to look at the office, cloud storage system, which was disorganized and hard to use. So you know what is the challenge that, the situation you're in. Then what are some of the actions? What did she do to make a difference? She analyzed the folders and reorganized it so information was more logically arranged and easier to find. So we know what's the action. Then what were actually some of the results? She made the teams work easier, which saved them time and allowed them to serve clients more effectively. And then finally, what was some of the learning? Best upfront time investment improved efficiency and ultimately saved time for everyone on the team. So that's a really great structure you can keep in your mind when you answer any of the questions to show the context, the action, the results, and the learnings you had. And on the next slide, we'll provide you just with an example of some questions around some of the competencies. So for example, for professionalism, why are you interested in this job? Why are you the most qualified candidate? You can think of examples how you can demonstrate that. Planning and organizing. Tell me about a time where you had a number of demands being made on you at the same time. How did you handle that? And so on. So look at the competencies in the job description, plan, prepare, and think of examples that you can provide, highlighting the Carl story. And that's from the recruitment side. Hopefully that's given you a bit more insight in how the recruitment process works within the UN. I'm going to hand back over to Christina. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much to Jennifer and to all of our wonderful speakers today who shared with you a little bit more about the UN, the various entry points to the UN Secretariat, the recruitment process, and their own personal experience. So at this time, we do have a few minutes. So I would like to invite those speakers to come back on screen and let's answer some of the questions you've left for us in the chat throughout this event. And we'll stop sharing the slide so that you can see all of us again. Thank you, thank you. Yes, please join me on screen, everyone. I think we do have a few questions that we have time for, and right away, let me just start with one that I think is on a number of people's minds. It's about nationality. So the question is about nationality affecting maybe the selection process or not, and where that stands compared to educational background and experience and merit. And of course, the country list for this event was very specifically targeted, so we want to touch on that too. We've had some questions on that. So which one of our speakers today would like to take up this topic? Jenny?
Jennifer, I'm happy to jump in here and then also ask Alex. I think what was presented in particular by Mahmoud for the Young Professional Program, it's really important, the nationality, as that's a program that's focused for us on the un- and underrepresented member states. So for that, there are certain criteria around nationality that can apply. So it's important to study that list to make sure you're eligible for the Young Professional Program. Otherwise, for all of our other programs, merit, of course, is the number one criteria. We do have a strategy that looks at what we consider equitable geographical distribution and also to hire on as wide as geographical basis as possible as part of our UN Charter 1-on-1, Article 1-on-1. So we do look and consider reaching and attracting as diverse nationals as possible. And to also consider nationality for some of those posts where we do have un- and underrepresentation.
Thank you very much. Anything else to add on this one? If not, we can go to the next question.
Yeah, I would like to add something.
Go ahead.
Even if your country is not listed this year, it might change next year. So the list is up to change from year to year. So keep looking at the program. So if this year you cannot participate, let's try next year. And again, this is one of the ways to enter the UN. It's not the only entry that you can try to get to the UN. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mahmoud. Yes, that's certainly true. So because we touched a little bit on areas of expertise or background, we can go into this next question, which is really about the educational degrees that we all have to apply for a specific job opening. How important is it that we have those exact degrees that are specified in the job opening? And on top of that, how important or how would it be considered in the recruitment process to have knowledge of a language in the field that we might get deployed in? So for example, a peacekeeping mission where a language is spoken that is outside of those 6 official UN languages that Hong presented to us. So kind of a two-part question here on educational background and on language proficiency. Who would like
Maybe
to?
I can start and then others can chime in. The field of expertise of education and experience should be relevant to jobs that you consider applying to. The good thing is that our job openings that you see on our careers portal will provide the requirements on the types of degrees that we require, the field of degrees that require, and the types of experience that we require. They are provided in very detail. So, when you get a chance, you should, browse around and see what sort of education and experience requirements the job openings have. I think will give you a very good idea. Now, sometimes, managers may put sort of more weight on the relevance of experience than the relevance of the degree, because let's say, I have seen colleagues who have majored in physics, for example, or geoscience, but they work in logistics, or they work in humanitarian affairs. So depending on the functions of jobs, they may put more weight on the relevance experience. But again, you should browse around our job openings and see what sort of requirements are there. Now, in terms of language, again, the English and French are the working languages of the United Nations Secretariat of the 6 official languages. So you have to be proficient in one of the 2 languages, depending on the location. For example, in New York, majority of jobs require English, fluency. While some jobs in Geneva, for example, may require French, or both English and French. Also, depending on locations, like our economic and social development, the office in Western Asia, in Beirut, they may require Arabic as additional language. Our office in Chile, Santiago, Chile, may require Spanish as additional language. So depending on where the jobs are located, they may require additional languages of the UN, the 6 official languages in addition to English or French. I hope that answered the question. But thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Hong. That was a very comprehensive answer, but if anyone else would like to add to it? No, then I'm going to move into maybe the last question we can take for now in the interest of time. And we'll continue maybe checking out the chat throughout the day. So if you have any more questions for us, please leave them in your in the chat on your screen, and we can certainly take a look and try our best. But for now, just while we have all of our speakers live, I would like to ask, and maybe we can get more than one of our speakers to answer this one because it's a fun one. What is or was the most life-changing moment or experience you had so far throughout your career with the UN? And I know for some of us, those careers are longer and for others are shorter, but I think a moment might come to mind for all of us. Who would like to start?
Why don't my younger ones speak first?
Thank you, Hong. Yeah, so maybe I can start with this one. I think I had a really sort of a really powerful moment in my work so far. So I work with this lovely team you see on screen, and we have all kinds of initiatives outside of these events. And one of them includes collaborating across the UN system on initiatives such as this one to bring more diversity into our workforces. And in the UN system, of course, we're a big family. It's not just the UN Secretariat, but we have a number of agencies, funds, and programs. And one of my most meaningful moments so far has been seeing those organizations come together as a true UN family and work on, recruitment, work on diversity, work on really important issues for, I think, us and our audience here today, and come together to really collaborate and promote each other. And I've seen that happen, and it was eye-opening for me, and a true embodiment of the spirit of collaboration that we try to live and breathe here each day. So that was a powerful moment for me when I got to see that and work towards it. Anyone else on screen? Feel free to jump in. Mahmoud? Amira, go ahead.
I would like to add something. It's a kind of discovery, honestly, that joining the UN just show me the human side of everyone working here, whether in the Secretariat as UN staff or even official from the member states. And this kind of, let's say, I will call it illusion, that these people cannot be touched, only on the screen of TVs. No, they are human like us. And they try to solve the problem the way we try to solve our own problem among friends, family, by first listening and try to collaborate. So even sometimes if you see, there is big issue in the world, at the end, throughout really collaboration, listening, and trusting, we can find a solution. So this is maybe the big discovery for me.
Thank you, Mahmoud. That's beautiful. Thank you. Amira, I think you had unmuted as well.
Mahmoud said it best. I'd also like to add that coming into work every day and seeing different events happening in our headquarters is just always inspiring. There are always different ways to approach a problem and to create solutions. So to see that at an international scale is really not only inspiring, but also it provides hope in my daily life. So I'm very fortunate to be able to access these events, access these conferences, and see what is happening on the global stage.
Thank you, Amira. That's beautiful. There's no other feeling quite like walking into the building and witnessing the scale of things. Yeah, I agree.
Maybe I can add quickly that yes, we can sort of firsthand eyewitness the conferences and events that are undertaken in headquarters in New York. But sometimes as human resources professionals, sitting in New York, we may feel that we are a bit removed from what's happening on the ground, in peacekeeping missions and locations that require humanitarian aid. But at the same time, I, for example, try to remind myself every day that I support our colleagues who work on the ground and providing, direct assistance and support to the peoples of the world and trying to address the challenges that we talked about in our presentations, whether it's peacekeeping, the conflicts, or, requiring humanitarian aids and, things like that. So I think, I think we, in a way, try to see that, aspect and motivate ourselves. At the same time, I have had the benefit of traveling to about 50 countries, while working in the UN. At the junior level, I was a compensation officer, establishing salaries for our colleagues in different locations. So, I had the benefit of traveling to various places, including some conflict zones like, Bosnia and Herzegovina, in late 90s and early, 20s. And also places like Sierra Leone, where we had the huge the peacekeeping presence, and Liberia and what have you. So, you may not be directly exposed to people on the ground, or the conflicts, the challenging situations on the ground, but you can, again, be indirectly linked to those aspects, working in areas like human resources and other administration jobs. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just
yes, go ahead.
to add, and I'll see if Bashir wants to add after me as well. I think what all the colleagues said, but for me, it's also really the looking at issues at a global, universal level, and it's been such a rich learning experience for me as well. And what an incredible team also I'm working with, and the people that work in the UN. We work truly across nationalities, diversity, and it's been such a rich personal and professional learning experience. So I think every day just coming into work really has helped me change the way I look at things, and the meaningful work you do every day is incredibly rewarding. So that it's not easy work. Also, as Hong was saying, it's hard and challenging, but it's really meaningful.
Thank you so much. I echo, honestly, what everyone has said here, and maybe last word we give it to Bashir. Would you like to add anything else from your side?
I was trying, what should I mention? There's a lot of good experiences at the UN, especially working in the diversity and equity and diversity and inclusion. But I would say, from my experience, as long as it's aligned with your goals, aspirations, and values, working at the UN can be everyday life changing to you, and you wake up every day excited to go to work, doing what you love. So again, from my experience, it took me a long time to do the recruitment process as a GPO, but at this point, it's all worth it. So be patient and make sure you can handle the work of it and the diversity of it, and all of that, and get the best of it.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bashir. Very well said, and that brings us very nicely to I think the last part of our session here today, where we'll share with you some calls to action. I'll ask my colleague to bring them back up on screen, but they all have to do with that virtue that is patience and determination, right? Because we all here have submitted definitely more than one application. But all jokes aside, please do stay in touch with us. Please, sign up for our UN talent pool. You see the QR code on the screen now. Thank you, Marcelo. You see it in the upper left-hand corner. So it's a subscription tool for hiring managers at the UN to send you relevant opportunities, maybe for some of us to alert you to more events such as this one. So please register. It takes, it's a simple form and it requests minimum demographic details and areas of expertise, no CV needed or anything like that. So sign up for that. Of course, follow us on social media. We'll be posting regularly and posting updates for those of you who I see in the chat are asking about news on the YPP, for example. Please follow us on our platforms, Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram, and you'll definitely know there. You'll be the first to know. So all of that to say, there's a wealth of information online for you beyond what we've shared here today. Of course, our careers website, careers.un.org, is full of other resources. And my colleagues are also posting a short survey in the chat. If you would like to stay in touch with us, please do fill that out. It should take no more than 2 minutes. So lots of ways that you can follow up and stay connected with our team and with our organization. And thank you to all of you for tuning in. Thank you to our colleagues for taking their time to be here with you and share their knowledge. And we look forward to seeing your applications and to maybe one day working with you as colleagues. So thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next time for our events.